We are nowhere near that risk. And there are enough checks and balances in our system today to compare ourselves in serious bubble territory. There may be early froth, as if I can use the phrase from what you said a few days ago.
Sections of froth in the market. So some people call it a bubble, some may call it froth. The question is, it may not be appropriate to allow that bubble to keep building, because if it keeps building, then when it bursts, because a bubble will burst, by definition bubbles burst. So when they burst, they impact the investors adversely. That's not a good thing. So what should the industry and each of the mutual funds do proactively to not keep fueling the bubble?
As we build and nurture and build the guardrails of building a deep pool of capital markets which supports India's growth, as it has done for the last 40 to 50 years, into a new India with lower intermediation costs, there are some risks which we need to keep in mind. We have seen a phenomenal growth on the futures options, and I think a lot has been talked about that. And it reminds me of a famous, and this is not common, it's not about today, it's back in the 1940s, a statement of John Maynard Keynes, which went like this: speculators may do no harm as bubbles on a steady stream of enterprise. The position becomes serious when enterprise becomes a bubble in the whirlpool of speculation. But what we need to keep in mind is the speculation is a core part of markets. But how do we ensure that the enterprise itself then starts manipulating things to get the speculation get to higher price? And this statement of John Maynard Keynes in the 40s, and it comes on the back of the Great Depression with a crash in 1929, is something which we always need to keep in mind as we think about balancing speculation with creation of capital formation and enterprise. And we have examples of that. I think the biggest example in recent times has been 1980 to 89 Japan. And it's only 35 years later that Japan index Nikkei has barely crossed its 1989 peak. And that's something which we need to keep in mind. But I want to at the same time say that I believe at this stage, we are nowhere near that risk. And there are enough checks and balances in our system today to compare ourselves in serious bubble territory. There may be early froth, as if I can use the phrase from what you said a few days ago, but I would say that it is still froth, little bubbly, but not out of control. That's my personal view. But as long as we keep a watch and manage it well, we can create a sustained capital formation going forward.